Before we go deeper into Stoicism, imagine this. A man in his early 20s sits behind his laptop, writing an application to a reputable organization. If I get hired, this will be the opportunity of a lifetime. I'll be able to realize most of my goals for this year and even lay a foundation for next year, he thinks. He is optimistic. He can already see himself doing things that he has been wanting to do for some time. But what can he really do? The most is to write hopefully the best application and hit the send button. That is the only thing in his power. What happens after the send button is hit is beyond his control. He's likely to celebrate if he gets the job. He might feel sad and discouraged if he doesn't. But the best thing for him is to take the outcome with indifference, whether it is good or bad. The most important thing is to not let his emotions be controlled by things that are beyond his power. It is like practicing archery or hunting. Although you may desire to hit the target, once you let go of the arrow, it is no longer in your control. If it hits, fantastic. If not, that's okay too. What you do before releasing the arrow and what you do after it lands are the only things that matter. That is the core of Stoicism. Appropriating events only the attention and power that they deserve. For centuries, Stoicism has provided a foundation for building mental resilience and emotional toughness to face anything life throws at you. Imagine the power you'd possess if none of the issues that bother everyone else bothered you. What if you were unbiased, cool and collected when others were angry, enraged and greedy? Can you imagine that? Others getting agitated and restless while you maintain your composure and calmness in times of adversity. The Stoic philosophy is a way to help you gain lots of strength, a clear mind, and the coolness of a cucumber during trying moments. The aim is to create an inner fortress that keeps you composed and impenetrable in the face of difficulty and helps you avoid paying more attention to events than is necessary. I imagine you never want to be manipulated by your emotions and feelings or by uncontrollable external forces. You like to always maintain your composure, but you find it hard at times. The good news is that, although it's difficult, with a little knowledge and work, you can definitely get closer to this kind of unwavering calmness. Zeno of Citium, the father of Stoicism, was formerly a prosperous dye merchant. He was carrying a pricey supply of royal purple dye from Phoenicia to Piraeus when he had a shipwreck that cost him all his dye, leaving him with nothing. Now a homeless person in a strange place, with no money in his pocket, Zeno entered a bookshop. There he found Xenophon's Memorabilia, a work on Socratic philosophy. This marked the start of his journey into philosophy and the eventual creation of Stoicism. Imagine you were Zeno. How would you react? What effect would a disastrous natural event that destroys all your life's worth have on you? I imagine you would feel angry, confused, hurt, cheated. Almost everyone would have the same reaction. But Zeno had a different response. He chose to be calm. He decided not to break even under such a calamity. He obviously never wished or imagined that something that cost him all his fortunes would happen, but he nevertheless made the most out of it. That's how much power we have over our emotions. It is a power that we can all harness. And let's be honest, life is so unfair. It simply is. There is no more gentle word to put it. So many things happen to us that we do not foresee, and even worse, we do not deserve. You could lose your job today. You can be diagnosed with a terminal illness. You could be hit by a car on your way home and become permanently disabled. That is not something that you can foresee or even prevent. Like Zeno, you can lose everything you have spent your whole building, all in the blink of an eye. And then what? The most important thing to remember is that even though you cannot choose what happens to you, you can choose how to respond to it. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Stoic principles center on how to live a good life by exercising restraint, letting go of negative emotions like anger and worry, and recognizing what you can control and what you have to accept. This empowers you to seek inner peace, develop objectivity, and realize your full human potential, even in the midst of chaos. The easiest way to embrace Stoicism is to think of life as a canvas that we are handed. The canvas already has some paintings. Some of them are beautiful, while others are not so pleasant. The most natural human response to unpleasant events is to complain. We naturally have a propensity to complain. Complaining, however, alters your thinking negatively. Due to our natural tendency to grumble about whatever we don't like, we more often than not automatically judge situations negatively before we can even consider being neutral. It might not seem like a big concern since everyone does it, but any linguist or neurophysiologist will tell you that doing so causes you to think negatively, thereby rendering you a less optimistic person. Therefore, one important practice in achieving Stoic indifference is to put an end to your complaints. When something unpleasant happens to you, that is the unpleasant painting already on your canvas. For instance, someone could be rude to you for no reason. How then do you deal with the rudeness, the unpleasant painting on your canvas? Treat it indifferently. See it objectively. Use objective language to describe it. The way you think is influenced by the language you use. Using objective language, therefore, is just another technique to be indifferent to external events. So instead of saying, "That son of a bitch was so rude to me," you could say, "They probably just had a horrible day. I gain nothing by being upset about it," and then let it go. This is a reading and then repainting the canvas to something that, though you might not necessarily like, considers the situation from a wider perspective, one that is more logical than emotional. This change of perspective makes you see things from a more objective point, and in turn keeps your emotions in check in unpleasant scenarios. Do you want to become even more indestructible? Press subscribe and receive regular Stoic life lessons. Unlike what some people inadvertently believe, Stoicism is not about becoming an indestructible doormat. It is about freedom. Knowing your areas of influence and control, when to act according to its core values of justice, wisdom, temperance, and courage, and realizing when you have exhausted your options. It is all about knowing your reality and living in accordance with it. I know that this is easier said than done, but there are practical steps to become stoically invincible. Know what is in your control. Distinguishing between what is in your power and what isn't is a core Stoic principle. You have power over your thoughts, behaviors, values, and perceptions. The majority of external things, circumstances, and other people, however, are not. When you strive to control the uncontrollable, you frequently waste your energy and cause yourself pain. Work on letting go. Concentrate all of your efforts on your actions and thoughts. These are things that you can control. The couple that scheduled their wedding for next Saturday does not know whether it will rain or not. If it doesn't, they can be glad and grateful about it. But if it does, then they can control their reaction and decide that it won't ruin their special day. Practice voluntary discomfort. Regularly enduring suffering allowed the Stoics to develop their bodies and minds. They deliberately endured agony while performing physical workouts, fasting, taking cold baths, and sleeping on bare floors. Doing this can help you too in two ways. First, it can help you become more resilient by preparing you for expected difficulties. Second, choosing to put up with adversity can reduce anxiety and rage when confronted with unexpected challenges. To become Stoic, practice enduring small discomforts. This strengthens your ability to withstand actual suffering. Try taking cold showers every morning. Although it will initially shock you, you will eventually develop mental fortitude and become unfazed by the cold. This small practice will pay off when you have to go through a real struggle. Change your perspective. When difficult things happen, take a step back and try to look at life as an objective observer rather than a victim. Don't let assumptions and impulses dictate your actions. Almost any situation may be reframed with a thought that helps you see the good, learn a lesson, or locate the silver lining. By adopting this attitude, you can stop negative feelings like anxiety, frustration, and resentment. For instance, if you lose your job, don't think that your life is over. Consider it an opportunity instead. Update your resume, apply for new opportunities, and start looking forward to interviews. Stay positive. Focus on the present. Obsessing over the past and fretting about the future is a guaranteed formula for misery. The Stoics engage in mindfulness, which involves concentrating on the here and now. Every moment is an opportunity to use wisdom, exercise fairness and restraint, and realize your best human potential. Focusing on the present moment allows you to make decisions that are in line with your values rather than letting regret, fear, and anxiety rule your decisions. If you are mourning a loss, for instance, acknowledge your sorrow, but do not dwell on the past. If exam anxiety is bothering you, redirect your attention to the present, where you can make a difference by doing something constructive, like studying. There will always be difficulties, but you don't have to crumble under them. Through everyday practice, anyone can develop the emotional fortitude and grit that the Stoics advocate. You may create an unbreakable mindset to deal with anything in life by learning how to manage your views, respond thoughtfully, endure discomfort, and stay in the present moment. Always remember that it is not the event, but your judgment of the event that upsets you. By applying these principles of Stoicism, you truly become indestructible. Do you want to become even harder to break? Then watch the next Stoic video for strength,